Hi, and welcome to ezInvoice. In this video, we're going to show you how to make an invoice. Um, Obviously, you'll want to click the new invoice icon, and that brings you to this customer screen. Okay, this is where you'll fill out your customer's information. Now, if you want to add this customer to your contact list app or to your contacts app, go ahead and leave this button checked. It'll automatically do it. So you'll see that we have four tabs up here. We have a from screen, a customer screen, an option screen, and an item list screen. That's the four screens you'll be using to create your invoice. Your from screen is already filled out. The information from your preferences is put in here. Okay, so what we need to start on with a new invoice for a new customer then is the customer screen. So first you'll want to type in the business name. Okay, we're going to call this American Widgets. And the contact name will be Jim Stevens. Okay, if you're in one of the European countries or one of the countries that uses value-added tax, they require you to add the number of your customer's VAT number to the invoice. So enter that here. You can enter their phone number in here, their email address, and then their street address. If they have an apartment number, a suite number, something like that. The city. Select a state. And we'll select Missouri. Zip code. And select the country. All right. If you're shipping this product to your customer and the shipping address is different than their billing address, then you can go ahead and add their shipping address in here. If it's the same as their billing address but you want to display the shipping address on the invoice, just click this little checkbox here and that'll be displayed on their invoice. Okay, so we're going to add this customer to our contact list. We've got their name and address filled out. We're going to use the shipping address on the invoice, and we'll use the same address as their billing address. Now we go to our invoice options. Now some of these are preset by your preferences. For example, the logo. If you've checked use logo in your preferences, then it'll already be checked here. And your tax rate is already in there. Okay, so the first thing we want to do then is select a date. By default, it'll be the current date, today's date, and you can select whatever you want to on that. You can change the year here, and you can change the month with these arrows here, and we'll just leave this for today. Okay, your invoice number, again, you can set this to whatever you want in your preferences, so it's going to increment it from there. By default, when you sign up for your application, it sets it at 1,000, but again, you can change that to whatever you want. If your customer issues you purchase orders, you're going to want to put the purchase order number in here. Then you want to select the currency you're billing in, and again, by default, this is going to use whatever you set in the preferences. There's your tax rate. Here we have a ship via, and this gives you a selection of the most common shipping services and methods. So we're going to select UPS, United Parcel Service. You're going to want to enter your shipping cost here. So we'll enter something there. And then when the payment is due, and you have several options here. If you select paid on this, it indicates that your client has already paid you for whatever you're billing for on this invoice. Prepaid is the same thing. These are just different headings that show up, and it depends on your choice there. Then you have paid upon receipt, check on confirmation. The rest of these are pretty straightforward. We'll say 30 days from the day they receive this invoice. And then finally on your options screen you have a note to customer. This is something that you might want to use if you want to indicate something specific about a product or service that you're invoicing for here. So we'll add a little note here. Now, from there we go to our item list. And you can see that you can click these tabs in any order you want. You don't have to fill them out in a specific order, but we also have these buttons on the bottom that allow you to just go from screen to screen, from the from screen all the way to the save screen. Okay, so anyway, we're on our item list now. We want to put something on our invoice, so let's make something up. The first thing we're going to want to do is select if it's taxable, non-taxable, value-added tax, no value-added tax. So by default it's on taxable, and we'll leave it there. And let's say we're billing for, we got to enter the quantity, so we're going to enter 12 a dozen of something, and let's say that that's $19.95 each in our price. And then in our description, we'll sell them blue widgets. All right, now if we want to add another item row, we can do that with that button right there. And we'll do the same thing here. We'll sell them 12 at $17.95 green widgets. Okay. Now, if that's all we want to bill for, we're good. We can click that Save Invoice button. And that brings us to this screen, which is our Saved Invoice screen. We have options here to print and preview our invoice, to email our invoice, and to enter payments that have been made on this invoice. So let's say the first thing we want to do is see what this invoice actually looks like. That'll open it up in a new tab in your browser, and you can see here we have a really nice formatted invoice. It's got your from address, the to address, it's got the shipping address over here, the date, the invoice number, the PO number, the terms, and the shipping method, ship via. Okay, and down here we've got our items, we've got our subtotal, the tax, the shipping, and the grand total. Here's the note that we gave, that we made for our customer. Call me with any questions. And here's our footer. All right. So from here you can print this, and if you do print it and fold it into thirds, you'll find that your from address and your to address fit perfectly in a standard number 9 double window envelope. So isn't that handy? All right. From there, all you got to do is slap a stamp on it and send it to get your money. All right, so we'll close this out. We're done with that. If we want to email our invoice, we've got two choices here. We can send it as an HTML email. It looks just like the one that we just viewed for printing. When your customer gets that and opens their email, that's what they'll see. And otherwise, you can send it as an attached HTML file. And what that does is it sends an email with a little text note with your business name and telling them this is an invoice, and it has an attached document. When they click on that, it'll save it to their desktop or whatever folder they select, and when they double click it, it will open it up in, for example, Word or a web browser or any app that reads HTML files. Okay, so you can also, you've got these options. You can send it to your customer, send a copy to yourself, include a PayPal button, and require a PayPal shipping address if you're shipping a product that you want to do that with. That's a PayPal thing. When they go to make their payment, they have to enter a shipping address for you to send the product to. Okay, so, and if you want to just preview your invoice and what it's going to look like when you get it in the email, you can do that. You can just deselect the send to my customer and then click the send email button. This brings you to a message screen that tells you that you did not send it to your customer and you did send it to yourself. And so then you can just click this back to previous screen and your invoice is done. It's been delivered. It's time to get your money. All right, so if you do get some money, then you're going to want to enter a payment. And so you can click this invoice payment icon. All right. Now on here, we've got your invoice info. We've got your customer info, first of all. That tells us who we sent it to, gives us their phone number and their email address. And in the new ezInvoice 5, if you click on this, this brings you to your contacts app and loads this customer's info in there. If there's a phone number here and you tap that, it'll launch your phone dialer and your mobile device. If you're on your desktop and you've got Skype set up or something like that, it'll launch that. And then the email link will also launch your email app to send this customer an email. Over here we've got your invoice info. That gives you the date of the invoice number, the PO number if the customer issued one, your payment terms, the subtotal for this invoice, the shipping, the tax, the grand total, how much you've been paid, and the balance due on this invoice. Okay, so let's say you got a payment and you want to enter that. Up comes your calendar. We'll put, let's say, July 3rd on this. Okay, and the amount, let's say they sent you, how much was it? $512 is a total on it. So let's say they sent you $250, and you want to put a note on here that that was maybe check number whatever. Okay, and then click your Save Payment Info button, and you'll see over here that the total paid is shown and the balance due is shown. Your payment is saved for you here, and you can enter a new payment down here. Of course, you can edit this payment and resave it, and it'll show the changes here. If you want to delete a payment altogether, just select all this, delete it, enter the save button, it'll just clear it out. Okay, so now we have a balance here of $262, so let's enter another payment. We'll say they paid that one on the 15th, and that one's going to be $264, and we'll say that's check number 5. There we go. Save that one, and now you can see it shows you the total paid, your balance due. Both payments are shown here, and you have another field to enter another payment if necessary. All right, so we've got that. Now, if you wanted to delete this invoice for any reason, you got a handy link here. Click it, and if you click OK, that invoice will be gone forever. And you also have up here a tab where you can set up to email this invoice if you want. Works the same way as on your saved invoice screen. Same thing here with the print and preview invoice. Brings up your invoice in case you want to print it or preview it. And then click the edit button. That'll bring you right back to that invoice so you can edit it. All right, that's everything we need to know about making an invoice and entering payments. Next, we'll go over how to find invoices and make income reports. Thank you for watching.